Okay. We'll call the meeting to order for the Oregon Sierras Commission for September 18th, 2025. We'll start off with roll call.
Good evening. Amy Wilson.
Here.
Daria Loy.
Here.
Emma Lugo.
Here.
Joyce Lemaster.
Here.
Choir.
Here.
And I will also note that I have not heard requests from Myra Ravenwise or from Amanda, so I assume that they are on their way.
I'm here.
Did I not say you, Rebecca? My
I don't think you asked Josh.
I don't think I was not asked either, but I'm present.
Joshy here.
That's because I started alphabetically, except for let me continue, Josh Planton and Rebecca Sire.
Here.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, next up is adoption of the agenda. Are there any other items that people would like to add to tonight's agenda? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
I make a motion. Second.
Thank you. Any objections? Okay, we'll consider the agenda approved. Next up is approval of the August 21st meeting minutes. Give everyone a couple minutes to review those and see if there's any edits.
I did not print out copies for that because I don't know if people,
I don't think they got sent either.
they were in the packet.
They were in
They were in
the,
the packet.
with the, after the agenda.
But if you
Here,
want, I can go ahead and make some copies. I'm never sure.
I can pull them up here.
There you go. And if people like having them there with all the other meeting materials, I'll definitely print them out every month. I'll take those head nods to mean, yes, please keep printing.
Sorry.
Okay. Everyone should have the minutes. Oh, too fast. So I'll scroll down slowly, but let me know if I need to slow down.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I did read through them. That's right, I have seen this. Yeah. And I think they were fine, if I remember.
No edits. People are satisfied. We'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
I move we approve the minutes.
Emma, thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Claire. Any objections to approving the minutes as presented? Okay, consider those approved. Thank you, everyone. And any public comment?
No, I did not receive a public comment.
Okay. Awesome. So we'll get into discussions. Up first is the proposal for public art assessment update. Kathy, you are welcome to come up and talk through the proposal. Does everyone have is there a copy? Okay, yeah.
So
Introduce yourself, sorry.
I am Kathy Rowe. I was the original author of the public art assessment that was done last year before? I'm not.
2024.
2024, because it was like
End of the
January
year,
of
yeah.
something, yes. So January of 2024 is what I did the last one, and since then, we've had some additions, we've had some changes. It could use an update, so this before you in the packet is my proposal for just a few edits and changes and recommendations that I heard about what some people wanted changed and organized in there.
Are there any questions on the proposal?
Could you describe your proposal, please?
So in the proposal, I would be adding 11 approximately additional items that were either missed or have been added or changed. And then about 9 condition updates, because most of the things pretty much maintain condition year to year, but there are some things that have changed significantly. And then there's one significant document addition, which is a table of context and an index. So just to make it easier to find specific things, what page do you go to, that sort of thing.
I have a question. I feel like they weren't on the last assessment, and I'm not sure if it's public art or not. The light installations along 99 by the river, like right, kind of like at the end of like 14th Street, 12th Street area. Were those on it last time, and are those, they look like public art to me, they're like
Yes.
these, yeah.
Those big,
Not the
No, they're
lamppost,
not
the
lampposts, they're.
fins.
They're like waterfalls.
They're like-
yeah, it's
they're
supposed to be a
like big
waterfall.
silver things, and
that
then they
is-
light up on the side, they're pretty.
Right.
It is.
Yeah,
It
and
was-
those are on the.
Yeah, they are. I
Okay.
remember that being a significant investment.
Yeah.
It was
I have a
included.
question.
Yes.
I noticed in your last report, like you were working on a spreadsheet and then you created the document. Would you also be willing to make the spreadsheet available to the commission?
Yes, so that's part of what I am intending to include is the index, is sort of an abbreviated version of that spreadsheet, because it is, like, if you print it out, it's like 20 pages in every direction. So, yes, I would like to make a more digestible version of that for the index.
Right, and so I guess what I'm getting at is that we, as a commission, are adding other bits of information to those. So like where funding might have come from, or if it's a revision, where the new funding came from, things like that.
Yeah.
So I don't mind seeing the whole big,
Okay.
ginormous spreadsheet. I just wanted to request and see if that might be made available as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
In terms of, new pieces, you noted quantity bid 11 here at a unit price of $100. Do you have a list of what all would be the new items that you'd be adding? Or is that just an estimate that it'd be up to 11?
I had a rough list going, and I got to about 9, and I was thinking, like, that's not all of them. I could probably think of about 5 more. So I
Okay.
9 to 15, or what did I put here? 7 to 15 items, and I
Okay.
just estimated it to the middle of 11.
Okay.
Will there be an indication of which ones were newly added?
I wasn't planning on having an indication, other than I always have the date listed
Got it.
when it was commissioned. Yeah, when it was,
Okay, when you were.
When it was
commissioned to
created,
add,
yeah.
right. No, that's an indication, that's a good one.
Can I ask you a question just while you're here? I mean, not about this, I mean, I think this is fine. But on the whole, what do you think the status of our public art is? I mean, how would you see it, and what do you think we need to improve on with our public art?
having an actual way for the city to make an investment into public art would make it a more solid program. So, and I don't necessarily see that formed yet in the Arts Commission, but that's what I would like to see the Arts Commission moving towards, is having some sort of way to plan out a continual, which I do see you doing the restorations of the previous work, but having a plan to keep doing that at regular intervals, and then a plan to create new works at regular intervals. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Kathy, I dare say that I think everybody on the commission would agree with that statement.
Yeah, all right. Okay,
Great, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
I am happy to take a vote on this now. If people want more time to think about it, we can always come back at another meeting and make a vote on it, but whatever people are comfortable with. Okay, everyone okay with that? Okay. So is there a motion on the proposal?
Hey, Josh, before we take a vote, just because I don't know that people in, I want to just read out the dollar figure so that people watching on the live stream know how much the proposal is.
Okay,
So I guess I can do that. The proposal from Kathy Rowe is for $1,650.
sounds good. Okay, is there a motion on the proposal?
Okay, if Cora won't do it, I will. I would like to move that we accept the estimate provided by Kathy Rowe for an update to our public art assessment.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Okay, ayes have it. We'll consider the motion approved, so we'll move forward with accepting that proposal and getting the work started. Thank you very much, Kathy.
Thanks, Kathy.
Okay, so next up is approve recommended municipal code amendments and Arts Commission goals for the City Commission for this work session on October 7th. So,
September,
October 7th.
Yes,
Work session with,
the upcoming work session.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry,
I was like, wait, what? Did we miss it?
sorry, my mistake.
No, you're fine. Okay, so let me pull up here. I'll do the municipal code first. I think that one is in good. Well, that's not it.
There is one phrase we do need to visit on the, in the municipal.
Yeah, I was gonna start with the mural one, because that one I think is in good order. I did get confirmation from James that legal counsel has signed off on it, so let me share it real quick. I had reviewed and made updates based on their feedback. We addressed the comments discussed last time, removed the word substantial, updated, I think it was section 8 and 6 to clarify the language and to also clarify our intent that if a building owner is wishing to remove the mural, that they have to remove it at their cost, which is what the current municipal code is. We just updated the language, so we made sure that it was revised in such a way that it still clarified that point. But other than that, I think, removing section 12, but we had already talked about that at one of the previous meetings. So with that, I think the mural code proposal is done. Were there any other comments or thoughts on it before we moved on to the charter code? Okay, we'll consider that one good for now. I think, and with the, oh yeah,
Just one small question. It's not something that we have to address in this code, but Does this code address if we want to do a mural on a roof?
So what I did is I removed any reference to walls, because there was a few references that would allow us, and I made a note of it too, and I think legal saw that, was we want to be able to do rooftop, wall, and intersection murals.
Got it, okay, thank you.
So, yeah. And I just found out there is an intersection mural in,
Yeah, down there.
down there.
It's really nice.
It's really, I think they just updated it, or they just painted over it.
Yeah, they
So-
repainted it like every, yeah.
And I think Amanda's been pretty engaged in that too, hasn't she?
Yeah, it's right next to her house. But, I was painting it with my family that Saturday.
Oh, okay.
I have a question that's
Yeah.
gonna make it, so everyone forgive me. I just wanna be clear, like, I get a little lost in all, like, the tiny print and everything. Is it clear that does this change that we are allowed to fund murals? I never understood if that got settled or not, because
So-
last time she was here, it sounded like it was still a back and forth.
In certain cases, we are allowed to fund, so how you kind of have to break it down is in terms of where's the funding coming from and the ownership of the property. So there's 4 quadrants. There's private money funding a private mural on a private wall. There is public money funding a private mural on a private wall. There is public money funding a public project on a public wall, and then there is private money funding a project on a public wall. Each one of those has to be taken differently in what we can do. In the terms of if we got money and gave it to someone to go paint a mural on their building, that would not be allowed under the current rules, because we can't be the ones gifting the money to someone as an arts commission and having then coming them back to us and getting their application approved by us. That would be seen as biased in terms of our quasi-judicial role. In the case of a public-funded mural on public property, we would have the right to do that, and we would have the right to look at the content of that mural and base our decision on the content of that mural. We would wear 2 hats in that scenario. In the case of a private money in a private wall, it'd be our normal run of course where they would come in, submit it, and we would approve the mural based on the materials being used. We wouldn't be able to base it on any kind of content. Which content? Oh, go ahead.
Well, so we have no say in the content, but the city has a say in the content, obviously.
Well,
We don't
it
want
can be
inappropriate
Yeah, it
murals,
can be
right?
obscene, and if it was seen as something like that degree, then the city would address it under the signage laws,
Okay.
which is where the mural code kind of falls under.
Okay,
So that's how they would address it that way. It would be a code enforcement thing and it wouldn't be on us.
okay. So we're not approving any murals really unless we're funding them? Like,
Unless we're funding them and they're on public
Okay.
walls, then we can have a say in it. The thing we want to get to is with the private money on a public wall. So that's kind of the scenario we're looking at right now with the Salmon mural. Luckily, in that case, we did hear that the Enhancement Grant Committee did say they would like the Arts Commission to bless the final design of that mural. So we do have a little bit of a say in that, given that the nonprofit organization received the grant under those terms.
okay, all right.
But it could come back that, yeah, a private company or what have you somehow worked out a deal with the city that they wanted to do a mural on a wall somewhere that's public property. If the city worked that out, again, we might not necessarily have say in it. That's why it's important, what we were discussing last week with strategy, to build up the relationships with the city departments and the city commission to get them to agree that anything on public murals, we should have some input on, you know? I think that would be best, and that way we can, to the point made earlier, the art is kind of looked at as a holistic, you know, holistic approach, so that the images and things like that kind of mesh with the rest of the art that we're doing in Oregon City. So does that kind of help clarify kind of our role in each of these different scenarios. You kind of have to break it down that way is the easiest way I found to remember everything.
We should make a chart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can make a chart. We can make a
Yeah,
chart.
it's just really hard to,
Summary, it really was.
yeah, that was a good summary.
I've had lots of conversations about
Yes.
that. Okay. Did I answer your question? I can't remember what the question was now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think what your main question was is, can we fund?
Can we fund, and
yes.
in certain scenarios, the answer is yes, in certain scenarios, it's no, and I understand
Yeah.
the quadrants of scenarios, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Cool, thanks, Doug.
No worries. Any other questions on the municipal code before we move on? Okay.
I just have a comment, which is that I do appreciate the back and forth that we've had with both Attorney Carrie Richter and that you've pushed and also James has pushed, because I do feel like we've gotten to a much clearer answer, like the 4-quadrant answer that you just gave us, Josh. I don't think we could have said that 2 years ago. And I think, I feel like, good job in helping make that clarification.
Yeah, no
We
problem.
could make a mural of that.
Yeah. Okay, let me bring up. Trying to find the right one here. Okay, I think this is it. This is the clean version. Let me find the red line version real quick.
We have to make a move to approve.
Well, so I was gonna wait till we reviewed both and then decide
Yeah.
how we wanna, so let me share this again then, just so, everyone has it. Okay. And I will pass it off to Daria.
So, after last week, was it last week?
Yeah.
Yes, basically I went through all the notes, thank Ken for sending the notes of, all the amendments that we kind of discussed. I went through and I put all the amendments in, and what you see in front of you is basically the version that reflects, those amendments. And really there's not, that's pretty much all there is there. The only thing is that I went to notice that when I accept, when I created the other version, which is without all this kind of, the red line, there are a few, what's it called, stylistic issues, like, things that are not the next sentence, just because when you make so many changes sometimes, the formatting was a bit wackadoodle. But that said, there's not really anything else to add, just everything that was requested was canceled or modified or edited, and I followed like all the notes in a very pedestrian way, one by one.
Okay.
The only thing that I've noticed that while we have a city recorder in Jacob Wiley, we don't have actually Mayor McGriff here, but that's a simple thing to do at the very end, and the date, of course, has to be added. Those are the only things that are not there.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful. I didn't understand what you just said. Could you say it again?
I just said that the discussion that we had last week all together and all the amendments that were requested were all put into this document. So this document represents all the amendments that were requested, with the only exception that at the very end, there is an area where we have to put the name of the mayor. And right now, there was an old mayor written there, that's all.
Got it, thank you. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah, Anne?
Thank you for all your work on this, Daria. Since last week, there was a suggestion to make a change to one of the items, and so I wanted to ask the group to review. So if you could go to the page policies.
What page number?
Is
What is
4.
that? Thank
You
you.
said
Page
point
4, down at the
17.
bottom where it says policies. Where it says the Arts Commission shall operate as an advisory committee with budget and planning function to the City of Oregon City, devoted exclusively to its mission. I received some feedback that we need to either remove budget and planning function or modify it, explain it a little bit more.
Can you share, like, where that request came from and the origin of it?
Yes, and economic development wanted to remove it.
Okay.
So when I shared that on, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, and then say, well, can we talk about it and clarify a little bit more? Certainly the Arts Commission has, knows what you know what your budget is, and we're working so that the finance team gives you at least quarterly updates on what your budget is. So, you're monitoring your budget. And also planning out events and activities. I mean, so so it's not wrong, it's misleading the way it's written right now.
Why?
Because you don't create the budget, you're not a department, gets a, you know,
Doesn't say
so.
though, create the
Yeah, it
budget.
says with the budget, it doesn't.
By the way, that actually was written in the original document.
Oh, was it? I'm sorry, I thought
Yes.
it was added, well, the suggested change came to me this week.
I mean, I have to be honest, I feel like we should just follow the recommendation that the city gives us for the document. It's not gonna diminish the fact that we have a budget and that we plan out work. I mean, we're an advisory committee to the city commission. We might spend money on projects that are way bigger than our budget. I mean, this isn't really a limit on what we can do in the city with regard to the finances of the city.
So, when we heard about this proposed change, Rebecca offered some suggested, clarifying language. I reviewed that with James last night, and he signed off on that language. It just kind of, I get your point. If it's not in there, then we kind of actually almost are more free to do what we want with it, because it's not clarified in there. But I think having it clarified in there makes it easier for us to understand exactly what we should and shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, my point is just that we should listen to the city when it gives us advice on how to do something, and this is specific advice, so that's all I'm saying.
But
Yeah.
you spoke with James, right? Which is
I talked to him on the phone
representing
last night, and we
Yeah.
went through the proposed clarifying language, and he was okay with that.
So what is the clarifying language? May we?
Do you have it pulled up? If you can read it.
You can, I'm gonna write it here in a few minutes. Sure.
It was just a suggestion that the commission is responsible for monitoring expenses, collaborating with the city on budget decisions during each biennium, and planning activities in coordination with city staff, which is what we
That
do.
sounds good. Would you mind to send it to me so I can?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
And if you could copy me too, please, that'd be great.
Yeah, I can do that right now.
Is this, splitting hairs, I hope not. It's not just that we plan events, we're also in the middle of strategic planning right now, so we're planning direction for the future. Is that worth it, or is that just too much?
Can you read it again 1 second? Just like maybe it's.
Yeah. What I was looking for, since there was some issue with the words, just the budget and planning function, was to clarify that. So that the commission is responsible for monitoring expenses, collaborating with the city on budget decisions during each biennium, and planning activities in coordination with city staff. Because we get our budget every 2 years, right? We do get a report, and what was it? Every quarter, we get a financial report?
That's the goal, yes.
Okay. But we know for sure that each biennium, we are told what our budget is and what we have to work with. And then we work with the city. Sorry, I have something.
So like, I'm just looking at the point above, powers and duties, right? We have in point D, some language that speaks to that a little bit. But here we're talking about putting into policies, in the policies section. So remove the wording with budget and planning function. That's what we're suggesting, right? And then
Yeah,
to add the
'cause-
sentence immediately after as a B, a new B.
Here, do you want to just look at it?
Yeah, I mean, it could be like, right, like we could put like remove a budget and planning function in point A in policies and then put this text as a new point B and then move the other two to C.
Oh,
and
I
D.
see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
sorry.
plop it in basically, right? That's easy to do, I think. and then I wanted maybe, so I mean, for me it's fine, it's really cool. I think that Amy was making quite an important point about the fact that also is about the strategy of the future of its own kind of commission, and I think it does get a bit lost, like it is not represented here. So I wonder if in that language there can be one more word or two to.
Well, and up above,
put it
under purpose, mission, and duties, number D, there's a commission's duties may include planning and executing public displays of visual and performing arts. I think maybe we could add there just
Hang on, where
Where
are
is
you
this?
looking? No.
D, under purpose and missions and duties section. So,
Oh, mission,
Just right above.
sorry.
Oh,
right
okay,
above
the
it.
same
Yeah.
page, just in.
Planning execute public display video performance presented.
What page?
Just right
It's still on
above
page 4, it's just
It's
above.
page 3.
Page
Page
3.
3, point D.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, page 3, point D, sorry, I was looking at 4 also.
So I'm wondering if we just put in there including strategic planning and executing of public displays, and that way we are covered on the strategic planning as part of our role.
It's true, if it's strategic planning.
Include, so I can put the
And
word
execute.
strategy in between, before planning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay? Okay,
There you go.
Okay.
perfect, so that one I'm gonna add to be sure, strategic, just before the word planning in point D in purpose and mission. And then I'm gonna put as bullet B into policies, the sentence that you're sending to me.
Well, I want to make sure that we all agree that that's the language that we want to use.
Yeah.
That was just a suggestion. I was trying to clarify a little bit
Yeah.
more since it felt vague.
It makes sense to me, I'm very happy with the language personally.
Anyone need the language read again? The proposed language read again?
Would it hurt to just say the whole sentence, start here, and then include your addition?
Yeah, that's what she's saying. She's gonna, she'll do this and then make B with this.
Yeah.
And then C and D.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
just a separate bullet, basically.
got it.
Okay, language for policies, point for policies.
Okay?
Okay, so any other comments on the municipal code? Okay, so with those edits, I think we're in a state to say this one can be passed along as well.
Wow.
One,
Wow, Daria's been working on this since last year.
Yeah.
So,
one of the things, well, I'm sure legal counsel will do another scrub of both of them before they go to the city commission, just to make sure everything, looks good to them. So once you've made those updates, Daria, if you can send them to Ann, and Ann can get them, Ann and James can
Yeah.
take them over to legal.
NCCU, yeah.
So to be clear on what our motion should be, just so we're, in line with everything, is we're setting forward this proposed updates to the city commission to consider. So we're not necessarily approving the language, we are approving the proposed language to go before the city commission. And we should also state that with the amendments talked about in tonight, since they're not completely finished in the form that they were sent out in, so. With that, is there anyone who would like to make a motion to approve the municipal code changes?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I second.
And Daria.
yay.
And now that we've done it, congratulations.
Hold on. We gotta finish them. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Okay, the ayes have it, the motion is approved.
Now we go.
Now
Parliamentary
we gotta,
procedure.
we gotta get the bylaws off her plate.
Yes,
or-
I
or-
definitely want.
Yeah,
Next month, I really want to ensure that we have everything.
yeah, I have it on my future
It's on there.
topic list.
Yes.
Okay, so now we are switching over to the commission goal. So,
Oh, no.
what I,
Where did that go?
hold on, I'll pull them up too on the screen. what I did was take the notes from the meeting last week, and I put together some proposed language just as an effort to give us something to edit off of, because it's easier to, I think, edit from something versus create brand new in a meeting. I sent those over to Rebecca. Rebecca added her, language to it, and then that's what has gone before you here. These are, again, proposed, so if people have edits to them, feel free to throw those out. As you'll remember, in the meeting, we had identified 4 goals. One was kind of the stability foundation work. One was partnerships with city government, other cities, other art organizations in the region. One was kind of our own identity as an arts commission and where we wanted to see ourselves and how we want to brand ourselves to others. And the final one was on kind of making Oregon City a destination for art in the region. We also included the examples from some of the notes here just to reference. Those are not going to be part of the goals. The goal will be the bold piece at the top and the italicized wording underneath. So I'll give everybody a minute to review those, and then maybe we can go down them one at a time and see what, if any, changes we want to do. Oh. Feel free to come up here. Do you have her name thing? Okay, do we want to go start with the first one? I'll read it just so everyone can hear it. Strengthen the Oregon City Arts Commission Foundation. Build a strong foundation for the Oregon City Arts Commission by implementing best practices, standardizing operations, and securing flexible funding to create a leading public art program.
The only thing that occurred to me right off the bat is it sounds like we have a foundation. Like a school's foundation, like a money foundation. Is there a way that we could not say that? Because it sounds like there's an OCAC foundation
Yeah,
out
it's
there
true.
somewhere.
That's a good point.
We're still
Look,
working on
the
it.
right way to see that. Strengthen organizational foundation. Just gonna try this.
What about structure?
Oh, well, something's sniffing me. Sorry.
It's a,
It got right behind my knee, and I'm like, whoa, whoa. You're fine, totally fine. It just got me.
We should let people know who are just tuning in, there is actually a dog over there. Otherwise, that's a confusing thing.
oh my gosh.
I mean, we could do strengthen the Oregon City Arts Commission Administrative Foundation
Or administrative structure. We could say structure.
structure.
Yeah, because you're correct. Foundation sounds like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
The foundations, yeah.
and organization is also similar to that. Like, and we're not an arts organization.
Right, yeah.
And we're not a foundation, but we do need a structure. Anyways.
Yeah, I think what we were just thinking is like, when you build a building, you have a foundation.
Yeah.
Or we could even say
Grounding.
operational foundation.
Or foundational principles? Nope.
I mean, the whole thing sounds like we're an organization. I mean, I don't mind. This is just our 5-year plan, so we can kind of call ourselves whatever we want, but I mean, everything here sounds like we're an organization.
What, you have got any suggestion on what it could be instead?
Well, I don't know, it's a 5-year plan. I mean, we can say whatever we want. I mean, I don't see, I don't mean to sound grumpy, I'm not trying to. I don't see anything in here about an art building, which I know is something that I feel really strongly about. but it's okay that it's not in here.
Or what?
Well, so remember what we'll do is once we have the goals established,
Oh.
the goals are fairly general, and then from there we'll build out objectives that are
Sure.
more,
And
and
the
that
other
could be
thing-
without it goes in.
And the other thing that I'm not really seeing here is kind of the bigger sense of what art is, like dance, theater, community stuff. I'm not really seeing that here. I'm seeing something that looks more like something that's written by a bunch of visual artists and sculptors that want a really specific idea for what public art means in a city. And that's fine. I mean, that's kind of
Where
what
do
we
you
are.
see that?
Do you not, would you not think the, down at the bottom, curating projects that enhance placemaking?
Yeah,
That says expand
that's
the
kind
city's
of-
art programs by
yeah.
diversifying artistic mediums,
No, I
subject
mean,
matter,
that's-
and locations to
yeah.
enhance tourism and
Yeah, that's
community
kind
quality
of,
of life?
yeah.
That was kind of the idea
That's
behind
sort
that.
of, that's
Yeah.
kind of James, yeah, putting that in. That's good though.
Yeah, I mean, James hasn't edited any of this. This was just Rebecca and my own language.
Yeah, yeah.
But-
I understand, but we've been listening to James for 5 years.
Yeah. Okay, so is everyone happy with the first one, strengthen the Oregon City Arts Commission structural foundation?
Emma, are you thinking about specifically listing in theater, dance, instead of just saying art mediums?
I
Because
mean,
art
that's,
medium can,
that's in our
just feel
bylaws. It's already in our
visual.
bylaws, so it doesn't
Okay.
have to be in our 5-year plan.
Okay.
But it would be nice if we remembered that that's part of what we're about.
yeah.
So just to maybe reset here on this, with how this will ultimately fold out is that we'll have our goals, and then for each of those goals, there will be a set of objectives that have a defined, measurable, specific thing that we can reach. So that could be having one performance of all those different types of art, and that could be an objective to reach this goal. The goal is kind of generalized so that it's kind of something we will never maybe fully obtain, but it's up there and what we want to do. And then once we have objectives, we create our strategies and we create our tasks, and now we have a roadmap. And now we can slowly, as we address each one of those tasks, we get our strategies done. As we address each of the strategies, the objectives become done. And then as we get all those objectives done, and we can measure out our path forward in a way that we could be proactive in engaging with arts in Oregon City. So that's kind of the purpose of this, is to build out that roadmap for ourselves.
Well said.
Okay, I'm not hearing anything else on the first one, so I'm gonna jump down to the second one. Forge community partnerships through art. So develop strong partnerships to engage the Oregon City community through art, connect city government, the regional arts community, and citizens to expand public art opportunities. And this covers
That's
everything.
understandable.
Yeah.
I think you captured that well.
Okay. Next is enhance regional awareness and brand. Increase regional awareness and build a strong, cohesive identity for the Arts Commission, establish Oregon City as premier public art destination, position Oregon City Art Commission as a strategic leader in shaping the city's public art landscape by grounding our work in clear values and community storytelling.
So clear values is really squishy to me.
Yeah.
I would almost rather not have, community storytelling makes a little bit more sense, but I'm not like, whose values, emotional values, political values, I think it would be better without that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more about kind of the grounding principle that we talked about earlier, whatever we call them, the foundation, maybe, not really
What if we did
values.
a clear vision?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah,
that sounds
that's
good, but
much
what is,
better.
what is
much better.
yeah, so I think that's.
Well,
really
so
that.
that's kind of for us to decide what our, we have our vision statement right now. We can either continue using that or we can update that if we wanted to. But once we have that, we can implement our objectives around it. So in the sake of a clear vision, if we decided we wanted a huge expanse of new art in different theater and performing arts as well as visual arts, we could, really focus on that as part of this identity that we have. We cover everything as an arts commission, or we can say, actually, our focus right now is going to be on maybe more of the visual arts while we build up that, and then we look at refocusing in the next few years towards the others. it can be anything we want it to be, but this is really just trying to set us on, throwing out a dart in the future and saying that's what we're trying to aim for.
I mean, I think we also still need to put in 1% for the arts as a goal for the Arts Commission. I mean, doing % for arts is how we got most of our last round of public art that was installed in the city, and it's a
Yeah.
really great tool, and I'm not sure where that fits in here, but.
So that's going under the first one, so it's flexible funding, so percentage for the arts would fall under that.
Okay, got it,
Yeah.
thank you. I mean, to me, the real test of this is like, in 5 years, when none of us are on the Arts Commission, will this make sense to whoever's on the Arts Commission then?
Yeah, it'll be, so when this is finalized, there will be a huge document. I've already got, I think, 12 pages, and I haven't even put in the actual meat and potatoes of this whole thing, which is the goal setting stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that'll go into it, and we'll review it as a group together. We started on it, and I kind of have it cleaned up a bit since we last touched it, but this will be implanted in that. Again, the objectives, the strategies, the tasks, and we have our roadmap. And then once we get other things going too, we talked about at the last meeting a public art plan, right? That'll be one of probably our objectives under the first item here, which is our operations. We want a public art plan, and it will fall under other ones. So there's going to be some objectives too that kind of cover across a number of goals.
Maybe to Emma's point, I wonder in that first point, if there is a way to include some wording that talks about the fact that the structural foundation will have, will allow from some flexibility in terms of modification as things change and emerge and modify. You know what I mean? Like as the things happen in the world, right? And things happen to the entire kind of organization, people come and go, and so I wonder if there is a way to put some wording that talks about the fact that the foundation is there, but whoever is creating in such a way that is agile. I guess maybe that's the word that I'm looking for.
Well, so our plan is never to, I was never thinking this would be something that we would get approved by the city commission. Of course, we'd share it with them, but ultimately I would like to retain ownership within this group here, so that you're right, if in the future the Arts Commission decides we want to adjust our plan, they have the ability to, right? It remains, the ownership and the control remains in the Arts Commission.
Yeah.
Trying to think of
Can I
other.
say something?
Yeah.
I think the tricky thing about this whole discussion is that in the first few documents we discussed, those are things that we're trying to get set foundational, so that like the municipal code, so that going forward, those things are decided, and that we don't have to work on them as the Art Commission. And I say we, as in whoever's on the Art Commission at the time, so that the Art Commission has a structure. We know what we're doing. We know what we know what this commission's about. This document is more of helping us wrangle our ideas and all our suggestions into a focused, skeleton, so that when we make our decisions moving forward, what we're working on and how we're gonna do it, we have kind of like a vague roadmap, so we don't waste a bunch of time being like, oh, but we could do this idea, oh, we could do this idea. So this document's more conceptual and is helping us, in the future, make more efficient decisions, so that we're not just wasting time just popcorning everything that comes into our head. The first two documents are foundational and will be going forward for other commissions in years to come.
Yeah.
So if that helps kind of frame everything.
Yeah. The other thing to note too is that because of how we're structured, where there's 9 members and we rotate, coming onto the commission and leaving the commission, to your point, Emma, I think this can be passed on. Is it going to be exactly what the 9 of us think right now in 3-4 years? Maybe not, but I think there's going to be some continuation of thought leadership from year on. So I think it can be addressed. If we keep control of it in this group, we can manage that, those changing fluctuations in community and cultural and society, norms that happen in that time period.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? I think we're on number 3, right? Yeah. Okay. Anything else in number 3 that we wanted to change? Okay. Next is curate projects that enhance placemaking. Focus on projects that support the city's placemaking efforts, expand the city's art program by diversifying artistic mediums, subject matter, and locations to enhance tourism and community quality and community quality of life. This is more the destination-focused thing, and I think
Diversity, yeah.
diversity of our art, across the entire community. James did bring up, and I won't get too far into it, but he did bring up, some strategies that he has seen used from an economic standpoint that might be able to be applied in terms of art as well. And so I think when we get to that point where we're discussing that master art plan, getting him the opportunity to kind of walk us through some of those strategies might be helpful and give us ideas of how we want to approach it.
Can I say something about this part?
Yeah.
So I was just in Spokane this last weekend. Have any of you been down to Spokane and kind of walked along their waterfront?
I helped build that.
Did you? Yeah, because it's so amazing. I mean, it's just such an incredible, amazing space. And it's the kind of thing that I think we can do here in Oregon City. But if we're going to do it, I mean, we have to talk about part of this section here about placemaking involves, I mean, we'll have to do collaborations with both the city of West Lynn and with the Confederated Tribes, if we really wanted to work on, because like right now when I think about enhancing placemaking and making our city a tourist destination, I mean, I still think that most people when they see Oregon City, they see that mess down there. And, we should be part of that conversation along with, the former governor and with the Confederated Tribes and with the foundation and with the other city. I mean, that should be part of what we're doing if we're actually going to really seriously do placemaking, because we can have a waterfront that's just as good as Spokane's, and we can, we can preserve the historic nature of what's already there at this time and not step on the territorial autonomy of the Confederated Tribes in the process by playing an advisory role, a significant advisory role. If we start thinking about that now, and I think that the section number 4 really focuses on that. I mean, to me, it does.
It also goes back to section number 2, which is forge community partnerships.
Along those lines, I reached out to Trias gave me an introduction to the new executive director for Destination Oregon City Destination. I can't remember the name.
I already told her to come and present to us, actually.
So I reached out to her, trying to, that's going to be another group we want to be involved with. Amy, we have the letter of intent that she's been working on with the, remind me of the group?
It's Willamette Corridor project, but it's
Yeah.
Lake Oswego and Westland.
Yeah, which we approved the letter of intent back in April. That's going to be one of the subjects for the October 7th meeting. So there's a lot of things out there. Recently I read that some of the Clackamas commissioners are looking for maybe getting an event space going and maybe even somewhat of a cultural event space going. And it might be something longer term, but it might be something where we engage with them as well if it was in Oregon City, we could maybe have dual purposes where Clackamas County uses it and Oregon City, we can use it for, some type of art center, right? Or part of it. So there's all sorts of opportunities out there to make friends and go out and do these amazing projects together and act in some cases as advisory and in some cases, maybe we're the ones helping get the funding for some of that stuff. So totally agree with that. And I totally agree that a lot of these goals are going to circle back on each other.
Yeah.
They're going to have to be kind of handled simultaneously. So, any other comments on number 4? If not, then I would like to get a motion to approve, sharing these as our tentative goals. I wouldn't say we want to finalize them today because we might come down when we get into the objectives, deciding that they need to be modified a little bit. But sharing these as our initial set of 5-year planning goals that we're going to implement into a strategic plan going forward with the city commissioners.
I congratulate you for managing to somehow distill the kabillions of words that we came up with. This is clear.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say I did not reinvent the wheel when I did this. I looked at dozens and dozens of are trying to figure out, like, are others saying the same thing we are, and have they said it in a way that makes sense? And so this is a combination of several different things. I try not to reinvent the wheel, just take pieces and,
Good for you. Well, I think it works. I like it.
okay.
I make a motion.
Choir makes a motion, okay? Thank you. Daria seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. It is approved. Thank you very much. So we'll take the rest of this and the municipal codes, clean everything up, and we'll have it set and ready for October 7th. Real quick, I want to see a show of hands. Who is going to be able to make that meeting? Or if you're not going to be able to make that meeting, maybe it might be easier.
Work session?
The work session is October 7th, and I want to say it's at 6 or is it 7?
7th, I believe.
I'll have to confirm the
Is
time.
it gonna be here or if it's city hall?
It'll be at the police station,
Yeah.
I can make it.
Tuesday the 7th.
Tuesday the 7th. Yeah, their work session is always on Tuesday. I don't want to say it's at 6, because then I think they start normal sessions at 7.
At 7.
Or, sorry, 8, because it's 2 hours.
Starts at 8 p.m.
No. So their regular sessions either start at 7 or 8, so whatever time their work session starts, it's going to be at 5 or 6, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
So what time should we plan to be there?
Yes.
Are we there?
Let's have Ann confirm and send out a message. If they want to address, I think they have another little thing they have to address at the very beginning. Maybe they want to take that first and then switch over to us. However they want to handle that, but let's leave it to Ann to send out a message later once she confirms the time they want us to be there, and then everyone just plan to be there, a few minutes before then.
Yeah, I
that
think
work for
6
everyone?
o'clock would be the time, and it would be
Okay.
up at the Lipke Public Safety Building.
Awesome. So yeah, about 5:50 or so.
And will that be like an hour, half an hour?
We have an hour and a
Hopefully
half.
90 minutes,
That's
yeah.
what I agreed to with Denise Ammergriff.
So you said 5:50 for
About
1 hour and a half?
5:50. I mean, yeah. If you can't get there right at 5:50, totally understandable. Arrive when you can, but yeah. Awesome. Okay. Last thing on the agenda is the Salmon bench updates and next steps. So let me share. Let me bring up both reports. There's 2 reports on this. While I bring this up, maybe I can, Amy, did you want to start off because you helped with that report, or do you want me to, I can maybe set us
Why
up.
don't you
and
start
then-
us off?
Okay.
I'll correct
So
you.
while I bring this up, that sounds about right. While I bring this up, I will preface this with, I think the decision before us right now is what can we do, if anything, to, one, try and keep the piece of art, if we think it is still at that value, or I should say value, at that level of a public art piece, then what can we do, or what do we want to do to try and either make sure it stays there as long as possible, or, if we don't want to do anything and we, just want to see how it goes and come back to it in 6 months or a year and see what the condition is. Because we're heading into the winter season, it's an outdoor piece, there could be significant changes in the next 6 months. You know, we want to focus on that piece of the discussion, like,
Could we decide, first of all, whether or not there's actually an issue that we need to just address as an Arts Commission?
Yeah, so that was kind of my first part. Like, I think the issue is, do we feel that the piece still holds up to being, you know, a piece of quality public art, or do we need to reassess that and see what else we might need to do to either try and get it back to that point, or decide not to spend the extra resources on it. So there's a lot of options to us, and we have my biggest goal was just making sure that we had all the information before us so we can make a well-informed decision on what to do to move forward. So
Did everybody get a copy of this report? Have you read it?
Yes, I already know it was in the email.
Yeah, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, I've read it when it came, but
Okay,
might be worthwhile
um,
refreshing.
Is this the report from Public Works?
that's right.
there was two reports. Public Works sent out a report, basically commenting on the safety of the bench as it currently stands today. And their assessment was basically that there was no public safety issue with it. I know Becky went up there and Amy went up there and did some sanding to try and remove some of the very sharp pieces that were poking out, that the mayor had been informed about, and I think some of us had been informed about. So those had been addressed. And I think that's clarified in,
I just want to, illustrate again, this is the city telling us that they don't have an issue with it. So if we have an issue with it, we should go after something besides the safety of the piece. If you have an issue with the aesthetics or the workmanship, and you think the workmanship isn't good enough to sustain it for several years, then maybe that would be where we would make our decision.
I don't think that we were concerned with the safety. We didn't actually ask, it was a good idea to have it, but we didn't ask Public Works. about
Actually,
this.
that was what was communicated to me. And I don't want to pick hairs. There are two issues. There's the issue of safety, and is it okay, and is public safety an issue? And then there's the issue of aesthetic quality, and do we want to have it be part of our public art collection? So you're right, there's two separate issues.
Also
But the safety
durability.
issue was something that was brought up. And so that's why Public Works went and did what they did. I understand that there are two different issues, but from the safety point of view, I think we're square.
and it should be clarified that he's an engineer and he's very good at his job, but his assessment is as of today what the statue or what the bench is in terms of safety. That could change over time, especially since we have seen that some of those edges are not completely sanded down or smooth. And if those get exposed more due to wear and tear over time, it could become a safety issue at some point in the future. All the report is saying is that as of today, there's not a public safety concern with it. So I think that clearly addresses maybe that first question. Emma, unless someone else has other things they want to bring up around the public safety concern today.
My point is just for us as a commission to get into good communication with the city and really pay attention when the city's communicating something to us. That's all I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our primary concern was asking what the expense would be for one of our options. We had 6 options that ranged the gamut from do nothing to do something big. And we needed to be informed of what the cost would be. And I think that was what I remember asking Public Works to provide.
Yeah, we just wanted to have the full, lay it out in front of us. What's all the information that, would be important to understand as we evaluate this. So are there any questions on the report from Public Works at this point?
Could I have one follow-up?
Yeah, go ahead.
So one thing that Josh did say is that if we do decide to maintain it, that if we do want to do some kind of sealant, to get a recommendation from also from Public Works, and I wanted to share with folks that I did get a recommendation from someone in the Public Works Department of a particular sealant product that could be applied. So, and it was, his name is Kyle Christoph, and he's a facilities manager here for the city. And if that is something we decide to do, I can share that information. He suggested appealing a brush-on sealant directly to the grout and not to the tile itself, because that can change the color. But I just wanted to share some, that additional information is available if, for consideration.
Does it need to be cleaned first?
That's a good question. Yes, I think we would have to pursue, we'd have to
Yeah.
investigate that. I don't know the answer to that question.
Because it
Joyce.
looked like there may be some mold in there.
Yeah, no, we'd have to get an answer to that question. I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, so I think the meat of this, Josh, was where you put the options that we had to consider. So we've got
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
5, oh, man, this is an old one. Did we end up with 6, I think? I think I have the old one where it was just 5.
Yeah, I have the other one, but, hold on, Claire was just looking at the engineering report.
If that could be shown, I think it would
Yeah,
help
let me
with
show it.
conversation.
So this is the options down here.
Excellent.
Actually, would you mind to scroll back up from the beginning just to have the quick pointers about these reports? Just to refresh us a bit.
Yeah, I mean, basically.
I haven't read it for, not before this meeting.
Basically, the introduction talks about the piece, where it came from, the
Yeah.
cost, all that. The restoration grant summary basically talks about the fact that we sent an RFQ, and received back applications. We received back a total of 3. One of the applications was tied to this project, as part of that qualified application process. It might be worth noting too, that we never built out a qualified vendor program. We don't have any kind of valuation metrics or anything like that to determine qualified artists. So while that's the name of the application, that was not necessarily a completed program that we had thought through. The partially due to the fact that we were working our butts off trying to get money out the door. We met with Becky first on April 17th to discuss the proposal. We had questions, concerns. Over the next few weeks, we addressed those concerns and got back to a agreement where we approved her proposal for $10,000 budget at the June 5th meeting, which was a special meeting. And then at the June 23rd meeting, Myra provided an update on the discussion with the artists about how to proceed with the updated budgets. Main concern, creating a deterrent for skateboarders when restoring the bench. That was another thing that we never closed out on, was preventing wear and tear due to interaction with the public. And that gets us down to mid-August, where we had identified or heard and then identified several issues with the bench. Amy went through and met with several other artists who evaluated the bench and gave feedback, which is included below in these bullet points. So this is from other artists, including the original artist, Nora, who teaches public art at the community college. So she reviewed the bench and gave her feedback on that, which we then captured in the report. And I'll stop here just to let everyone give a chance to read these.
I mean, I've already said this, I don't really need to say it again, but I mean, if you just walk by the bench, it's pretty. I mean, I don't think people, I mean, you have to think about public art in terms of how people experience it. And I mean, I don't think that most residents of Oregon City are gonna see anything other than a pretty bench with some salmon on it.
Yeah, I think that underestimates people, and then on the other hand, there's something about it being public furniture. And it serves that purpose. You can sit on it, it's attractive, people like it, and, you know, the bar is a little bit lower on that than if you're trying to build an art program that has a higher bar so that people will come and, you know, have it be the destination and all the things that we talked about.
Yeah.
It used to be in that shape, and that was fine. And I believe now there are serious concerns, so that it doesn't quite meet that bar.
I don't agree.
Well, I want to say, like, thank you for doing all this work of actually asking a bunch of people that are experts on the topic to review it and kind of provide feedback, because I think that is pretty impressive amount of, you know, above and beyond, I think, amount of work to really evaluating, not based on one personal opinion, but really having multiple people that have competency on the topic to provide their feedback. So I think that is a very good process to follow, I think. Because otherwise we just get stuck in our personal opinion versus
Right.
actually having more data kind of available. So thank you for that.
Sure. Well, and again, keep in mind, I mean, that's one issue for sure, but the other is durability and the fact that the grout is coming up really easily in some areas. It looks to be affected by the accumulation of water. And if this is molded, I don't know what it is, but it is definitely black and it's weakening the grout. You know, liability is a big word, but it is a bit. It means that if we continued with this, we'd have to check in a lot and mitigate a lot.
I can't believe there is already mold. It means like something in the chemistry of the actual grout was not right. Because
It's
I mean,
not
it's only a
safe.
few months.
It's not cured. There are parts that are, and you can go there and you can jab at it with something hard and it's just great grout. But then there are other areas where it's soft.
That's not good. Okay.
Yeah.
The grout was my biggest concern as well. I think overall.
So what are the six, you said that there's
So,
six
yeah, if you could
options.
They go from, you know, the very first one, which is we do nothing. That's an option. We can just do nothing. We could continue to monitor it and file down the sharp, rough edges as they appear, or try to mitigate this grout from coming up, and I don't even know what that would look like. We could talk about this coating that's being proposed to cover up the top surface, but again, are you gonna trap this moisture? Are you
Right,
gonna
that would
trap
have
the
to be
mold?
assessed. I think if, in terms of that option, you know, I just shared that information because I was happy to get it, but I think you're right, we'd have to clean it or assess, determine what that is.
stuff?
And,
Yeah.
perhaps treat it, if it is mold, treat that before we put a sealant on top.
Well, and what happens to the grout that is soft? And again, that speaks to moisture to me, how far deep is that moisture? And if you just put a lid on that, you know,
It's gonna
Well, I
get
think
worse.
is it not yeah.
I have to go back and look too. I can't remember off the top of my head if it is like a cement board underneath or if it is actually like plywood. It might be plywood under there if I'm trying to remember back to the conversation I had with Nora back in winter of last year.
Yeah.
I hope it's not
Interesting.
plywood.
well, I mean, so again,
I don't
just
think it
as
is
far as the
plywood.
option is concerned, it's gonna mean that we would have to do a lot more investigation. It's not an easy solution that it seems like it is. I mean, it seems like, well, just put a coat, but it's like, ugh, there are complications. There was a suggestion by the original artist, actually, that this be removed to a non-public location. And then we can leave the bench in place as, again, public furniture, which is very, very different from public art, and deaccession it from our city's public art inventory, meaning we don't have, you know, the bar gets down a lot lower. We don't have to worry so much. We don't have to be out there trying to mitigate and being very concerned. We get to keep it, people get to enjoy it. Emma, people can walk by and go, isn't that pretty? And still have it, but it's not gonna be something that Kathy Rowe is gonna have on her list and that we're gonna put in a list of things for people to come and see the amazing wow art.
Well, I think that suggestion is intriguing to me for the fact that I remember Josh saying that the original artist didn't even think it would last this long period. So it's not. So we attempted to restore something, And, I mean, I have an old house, and sometimes when you go to fix something, it makes it worse, type of thing, you know, like maybe, maybe the structure, you know, shouldn't be in our public art collection for the fact that it's kind of falling apart. Yeah, so.
And I want to say too, like, again, I know we've already talked about safety and I don't want to like beat the issue over again, but it was very badly damaged and there were broken tiles. And now
Yes, it was.
that situation is done. The tiles,
Yeah.
you know, so, I mean, maybe we traded one issue for another.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we did address a concern.
We did, and in addressing the concern, and that's a thing, like, maybe we opened a can of worms. we
Right,
didn't
maybe
realize.
we opened another,
And so it wasn't wrong
added
for us to
another
address
problem
the
to
concern.
consider,
Yeah, because it
but-
was really,
Right.
it was really kind of not safe.
I mean, this is a good issue for us as an arts commission. This is a good experiment for us as an arts commission
think so, too.
because we're having a chance to think about the impact of a piece that we have approved. And there's a range of opinions on our commission, and it's good that we're engaged in this exercise so that we know what to look for moving forward.
Yeah, that's true.
I agree.
And, you know, I think I agree, and also is a good learning in the sense that in the future, if there is a piece that comes from a review for potential restoration, right? Perhaps we might wanna think even further than we have before we actually proceed. You know, the pros and cons, because like basically fundamentally we spent $10,000 that now are, you know, it's been a good experiment, an expensive experiment, right? And so this is a good learning for us to sort of think twice before we proceed and understand exactly. And if we have any doubt or hesitation, which we did in this process more than once, about the actual construction mechanism and process, maybe it's good for us to find ways for us to stop instead of persevere with something that we've got a few doubts and hesitation, which we did many times, right? So it's good learning. Maybe next time we're not gonna proceed if we feel hesitant.
I also feel like, you know, when we look back at our strategic planning meeting that we had last week, which was really great and productive, that strengthening you changed it to structure. But, you know, having some standards, agreed upon standards of selection, of evaluation, of, you know, from the artist to the piece to, you know, the calls that we put out. You know, Kathy mentioned early on in the meeting about having a public art plan and, you know, new pieces. So I think it's a painful lesson, but
Yeah.
it's also a good lesson
It's
for
a good
us
one.
to,
I agree.
you know,
But it's
start
also,
to.
We learned.
but I mean, also part of our role as an arts commission is to engage with the community at the level that the community has an interest in experiencing art. It may not necessarily be at a level that we have in terms of artists with our own aesthetic value system. I mean, part of what we need to do is think about what our community wants out. I mean, most of this doesn't, when we did the survey, like 3 or 4 years ago, most of the stuff that we talk about from month to month doesn't even register on what the community said they wanted out of it, you know, out of the arts commission.
Yeah.
And so we always have to keep that in mind.
And we do actually, Emma, because we've
Yeah.
had multiple discussions about how can we involve the community, take their stories and build even more on the public art that we
Yeah.
are bringing in and want to restore and keep in the collection. So I don't think that the community is being ignored from that conversation at all. I feel like that they, you know, that's why you have a public art program. And we've even been having conversations about, well, what is public art? What is a public art program? What does an art commission do? Like going back to like the basic definitions and how does that tie into the community itself? And I just think that if we had some foundational operating procedures for how, you know, we make decisions, or even from little votes to, you know, how we write up calls and stuff, would make our lives so much easier. It would just be, this is what we do, we've agreed on this, and this is how we're gonna fill this out. And then we can spend more time talking to community and talking to artists and promoting them.
And not with, yeah, exactly.
Right, and so that's all I'm saying.
Also, I
It's
mean-
not to exclude them at all, because that's our mission, is to help bring the arts to the community.
Also, you know, like another learning to me of all this process is got to do, something that I've noticed not just in this specific bench, but in general. Sometimes we kind of, there's a feeling that you have to get it down like last minute, very quickly, always under fire, but we really don't have to. You know, like I'd rather make less decisions, but do them right than trying to thread them out of the door to have quick wins that maybe in this case, for instance, is not a win at all, right? And so I think we maybe perhaps also for us in those protocols or whatever we want to call them, standards, and to really kind of build in the time for us to really have the good time to take good consideration and good time, not under kind of, you know, always running, because when you run, you always end up making potentially poor decision or not very well thought through, right? And I feel that sometimes project comes in with a sense of urgency that you don't even understand where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And it would be really nice not to have that all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I want to just echo and agree with everything that you guys have been saying, and I do appreciate the fact that there was a sense of urgency this past June where we had a deadline and we were trying to be responsive to that deadline. I feel like as the Arts Commission continues to grow its track record and grows its relationship with City Commission and gets some good projects under its belt, that this idea of money not being able to roll over from one biennium to another may not be as critical a concern in the future. So I think I don't anticipate that we will have that same kind of push as we did earlier this year.
Thanks, Ann. So we have about just over 5 minutes left. Discussion was really good here. How are people feeling in sense of, are we thinking we're ready to make a decision on this? Do we want more time to give people time to think about it and, you know, maybe even,
I mean, like, one thing that I wanted to these 6 options, I'm looking at the options and it seems to me that 4 out of 6 options require us to basically spend money. And, you know, they will be expensive in some cases. And then 1 is basically we do nothing. However, there is the possibility that by doing nothing, number 1, we might have actually some downsides and affect our actually public art inventory credibility. And so to me, once you start looking at that,
Number 5 is so good.
exactly, number 5, I think is like the one that you don't have to spend more money, right?
We have a question from the,
Kathy wants to say something? She has a question?
I have a specific question about number 5. So if you decommissioned the piece from the inventory and something happened where it did become a health and safety issue, who would be responsible for dealing with
Public
it?
Public
Public
Works,
Works.
just like any other bench in the city.
Yeah.
Okay,
If it broke, they'd be responsible.
then perfect.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why it's the perfect number. 5.
I will say, something to consider, for our interaction with the city is we don't want to set a precedence where, say, we want to do another art piece that is both art and functional. We don't want to set a precedence of like, oh, well, if it doesn't work out, we'll just give it back to you guys, you know? I think that in this case, this is, again, I think we should go back to the original quote from the original artist who was just like, I didn't expect it to last this long. Yeah, and being like, ultimately, that was the choice of the first art commission to put in a piece, a functional outdoor piece, where the artist was like, yeah, I wouldn't, you know, it's not lasting forever, so.
It might not have even been an arts commission at
See,
the
I don't think
time.
it was.
It wasn't?
It was the 7th Street corridor.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Well, so that's when it got moved up there, but it originally was down by the river. It was across from the 76 or what, yeah.
Really? I didn't know.
That's where it originally was, and they moved it, when they did this 7th Street.
With that, did they just go, oh, let's go take that while we're putting art on 7th?
Yeah,
Okay.
they moved a few pieces around here because of that.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, but it was down there, they moved it.
Okay.
Interesting.
And then like,
That's where I think it had more skateboarders, because it was flat area and they could skateboard right there.
I mean, I just, you know, want to say that it's it's a pretty piece.
It is.
And most people, I mean, there's not that many people that see it in the first place, but it's just a pretty piece that most people are just gonna see. And they see some salmon and they see some water, they see some mosaic, and it looks artsy. And it's, you know, it's really not
It's
that,
a little,
it's not
it's a
that
little
bad.
snippet of joy in her day, for sure.
You know, I think
I mean, that's how I feel
for a
about
lot
it.
of people who walk by, they're just looking at it and it's just a pretty thing that they see as they're walking
Yeah.
by.
To just, you know, I agree with you that all art is subjective, and that's one of the great things about it, and I really enjoy it about it. And in terms of a public art program, though, the one thing you have to remember is there's a lot of art out there that you would never consider to be part of a public art program. I mean, for certain reasons, there's some art that I know that we have in Oregon City that we hope, you know, just because of cultural sensitivities and things like that, we never hope will ever be exposed again, right? I mean,
Yep.
let's,
We can leave it at that.
there's things we just don't want to promote as part of public art you know, and things change. But I guess my question or my thinking here is that maybe we give till the next meeting, give people a chance to kind of think about this and then come back and make a final decision at the next meeting, if that's okay with everyone?
I'm ready.
I'm ready to vote. I'm ready to
Okay.
vote.
Oh, wow, we're voting.
No, we're just saying, we're not saying we're voting, we're just saying,
I don't think I need to think more about it.
I don't need to.
My only thought is, do we want to make an honest effort to have it assessed or, you know, get like a bid to work on the grout and then put the sealant on? And then make a decision to number 5 it? Like,
Why don't you ask the McLaughlin Neighborhood Association first, how they feel about it?
That's a good idea.
Well, we've got the secretary.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's like,
I cannot imagine
we're
that
talking
they
about two different things.
would not
And
concur.
One
And you're
is we're
right.
talking about aesthetic quality, or do I like it, is it cute? And the other one, this thing is falling apart and it's not gonna
I
make
don't
it.
think
So-
it's falling apart, you guys. I don't think it's falling apart.
will
There's,
hold
there's
after
damage with the
months.
grout. Some of the grout is
will.
not beset. That doesn't mean the bench is falling apart.
I know
think
when
we
you
could
pushed
try
on
to-
it though, there was water coming out. So you could push the
If there
grout
is
and
mold
water
that is falling
came
apart,
out, like
guys,
it
I
had
mean,
seeped in.
Mold is bad.
So, and we don't know what is gonna happen after the winter rain and, you know.
Why don't we wait
cold
and
weather.
see?
But I mean, like, they had like several people assess it, so I mean.
Okay,
trust
she has a thought.
Please come up and,
And
Come
introduce
forward.
yourself,
Introduce yourself.
Ariella
Yes, I
Sophie.
will.
Ariella Sophie, Clackamas County Arts Alliance. Not to complicate things more, but this might complicate things more. I know your time is probably up. I was just wondering, I know you've been doing all this procedural assessment work, wondering if part of the procedure you might want to consider is basically an approved materials and locations sort of list. Because it seems like this has been particularly complicated because it's mosaics on a horizontal surface, uncovered in a very wet climate. And it's also, part of the thing you encountered is that it's a specialized skill of handmade tile. And muralists are also a specialized skill, but for whatever reason, there's a lot more muralists out there and not a lot of mosaic artists, at least local to this area. So as you are doing your assessment and thinking about future procedures, I'm wondering if that's something you might want to consider as well. I do know that, because I've been hearing similar discussions with Arts Council of Lake Oswego and Gallery Without Walls, they have a list they follow. I can forward that to you all. It's
That'd be
like by the state of Washington,
Okay.
so you can just roll that on over.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
thank you.
So I heard a couple, I mean, I'm kind of ready to go. How about this? Can we take a vote on who's ready to
Let's take a
vote?
vote.
Take a vote on who's ready to vote. I mean, are most of us just ready to?
If someone's ready to vote and wants to vote right now, they can make a motion, and then if there's a second, then we can have the vote.
I make
And
a
we'll-
motion to vote.
Can we look at that list again of our options?
Go to.
It went away.
Okay. Okay, is anybody seconding?
I will second.
Wait, sorry, what was the motion?
I make a motion to vote out of the 6 options to consider for the salmon bench.
Which option are we voting for?
Yeah.
One of the
Vote
six.
general, just vote.
To
So
vote,
you're
Could
making
we
a
make a
motion to vote?
motion just to vote
everyone
on
can
one?
vote what they think.
Could we make a motion just to vote on one option?
Oh, I
Yeah.
can make a vote
Okay.
to vote for option number 5
Okay,
out of the
I
6
second that
options.
motion.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
all in favor?
All in favor?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Number 5?
Number
Oh,
5,
number
yeah.
5, yes.
Number.
Anyone opposed?
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, the ayes have it, so
It's kind of weak.
I'll work with Ann and James to next steps to see what we'll take to take that out of the public art inventory. There might be things that come back that we haven't reviewed yet since we've never done this before, so just be aware that we might have some other discussions ahead.
Intriguingly, the original artist who works for CCC is on a committee with acquisition and deaccession.
Yeah,
So she could probably get, and she's working right now on the form, so we could probably get something from her that would make it easier for us.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can circle back when, after talking to staff and
And
stuff.
I do like Choir's point that we won't make a habit of this.
Yeah.
No, that would be
Yeah.
terrible. That means we
That
don't
would
donate.
give us very little credibility.
The last thing on the agenda was communications. Real quick, I wanted to note that the next submission for Trail News articles is October 4th. Rebecca and I had talked about it before, and we wanted to suggest two options for, if the Arts Commission is in favor of doing an article in the next one, which will be in the wintertime. We've had two renovations to murals in Oregon City recently that were really well done. The Ogle Mountain
I don't know,
and
there's one that's kind of,
and the DC Lotterette part. We were thinking that maybe doing some type of article around those, highlighting the history and the, connecting our sense of place here in Oregon City to the piece of art. Both have great stories, I think, to tell. And so doing some type of article around that, and maybe even getting some quotes from either the mayor or James or the Parks Department or what have you, would be a good option for that. And I wanted to just see if there's any objections to Rebecca and I working on that article and submitting it by the October 4th deadline.
that's cool.
Sounds
Yeah,
wonderful.
good.
Do we have a preference on which one we'd like to highlight? Or do we want
Probably
to
DC Lottery.
DC Letterette? Okay. Okay, cool. We can always go back and do Ogle Mountain later too, but I think that'll be a good article to highlight,
Yeah.
the
Speaking of
significance
mural,
of that.
Yeah, no, that's great, thank you guys. There is gonna be that event a week from Saturday, that we're putting on in conjunction with the Parks Department and the McLaughlin Neighborhood Association is helping, to promote it. So it's gonna be 1 to 3, there you go.
Did we hang one of these like at the community board at
I
the
just
park?
did this afternoon.
There you go.
Yay, thank you.
Okay, with that, we will adjourn for the night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Great discussions as always.
So, 7.